All right, everybody on the stream, you've waited long enough. Our first guest is BYU's only Heisman Trophy winner, also a member of the College Football Hall of Fame. He is the head coach of the resurgent ALA Gilbert North Eagles there in Arizona, a longtime friend of ours. A pleasure to welcome Ty Detmer back to the Wise Guys. Hey, good evening, Ty. How are you?
Great. How are you?
We're good. It's so nice to have you with us. Whenever we mention Ty Detmer's coming on our show, people just get fired up.
Yes, they do.
Your lasting power is impressive.
Well, I don't know about that.
Hey, honestly, whenever we talk about most memorable games in the history of BYU, that Miami game that you shocked the world in comes right up to the top of the list, almost for every BYU fan. And I called that game for BYU TV. It's one of my favorite games ever. So as soon as we say Ty Detmer's coming on, they all have flashbacks to that Miami game, and they want to just hear what you have to say.
Well, it was a special night for sure. You know, having the number one team come to your home stadium, I think at that time meant a lot to a lot of people, and then to be able to win it and was something I think that people that were there for sure remember it. And you hear a lot of people. I think about 90,000 charged the field that night. Many people were like, "Fuck, the stadium only held 65," but I think it was at max capacity. So it was a fun night for sure.
Hey, your alma mater is 8-0, 5-0 in the Big 12, alone in first place, ranked number 9 in the country. What do you think of these guys?
Man, they're firing on all cylinders. I feel like they're playing really good defense, getting turnovers, special teams boost them every week, and then the offense just keeps getting better and better. It's nice to see Retzlaff having a great season. He's usually year 2 in a system helps. This transfer portal where guys are moving around, I think it shows that you gotta live in a system for a little bit, and he put the time in this spring and summer, and is really doing a nice job for him of making plays, but also more importantly, probably taking care of the ball, and then the win over Okie State, dramatic fashion, I think energized everybody and just gives the team confidence that no matter where we're at, we can go win the game if we need to.
What about the Central Florida game, 37-24 win? 6 straight games scoring 34 points or more, which is impressive. What were your thoughts after that one?
Yeah, I thought played very consistent, the whole game. They ran the ball well. They threw it. Play actions, big part of it for them. So, when you can do both, it keeps the defense on edge, and they did a nice job of taking care of the football and making plays, and then converted some plays that looked like had us dead to right a few times, and then got out of it. And guys, playmakers are making plays right now, so it's an exciting season.
Mentioned Jake a moment ago, Ty, and he has evolved. Lost the 4 games he started last year, and now he's won the first 8 that he started this year. When did it switch for you? You played some your freshman year, but when did you feel the switch go, and have you seen that switch flip in, Jake?
Yeah, I think we lost to Washington State early on. I think it might have been the second game of the season my sophomore year. Started the first game or 2. I don't remember exactly when that was, but we scored a lot of points. Kind of had a shootout, threw a pick late, and lost the game. And I think that gave me a lot of confidence that we could go score a bunch of points and we could really move the football. And but having the opportunity to play some my freshman year kind of got you in rhythm. I think if you look at the history of BYU quarterbacks, the first year's pretty good, but that second year really becomes a big year for most quarterbacks. And it's holding true with him this year, having the opportunity to play last year and get his feet wet and understand what it takes in the off season to really prepare as a starter. And I really feel like if you go back and look, everybody that's done that has played better the second year.
Yeah.
What's the biggest jump? I know, coming out of high school to college is even a bigger jump, but even coming out of junior college into play at this level, the P4 level, what's the hardest thing that a guy like Jake Retzlaff has to make an adjustment with, the most difficult thing to get up to speed on?
I think it's the speed of the game, for sure coming out of high school and JC as well. JC's faster, but it's not P4 level fast. That was a big thing for me. I got to play Miami my freshman year, got to come in the second half in the Orange Bowl and really learned a lot about speed. That probably prepared me more than anything, was being able to play against fast defenses, even if you didn't have success. Like he didn't last year as much, but it probably recalibrated his clock in his head and helped him really get off to a hot start this year.
Heisman Trophy winner and former BYU and NFL quarterback Ty Detmer is on the Wise Guys, presented by Brady Plus and distributed by the Deseret News. We've got 2 weeks of hype before BYU Utah, so there's plenty of time to revisit past conquests. You went 3-1 against the Utes, 3-0 as a starter. But let's revisit these four and tell us what you learned, what you remember. And let's start with the 88 game up in Salt Lake. Utah won that one 57-28. Scott Mitchell will be on the show next week, and he'll have plenty to say about that, I'm sure. But you got in as a freshman, 10 of 20, 238, couple of picks, couple of touchdowns. What was that baptism of fire in the rivalry game like for you?
Yeah, I think, being from Texas, growing up down here, I didn't really understand the rivalry. I redshirted my first year and got a little taste of it, at home. I think we won a tight one on a last-minute field goal, or Sean Covey got concussed. Bob Jensen came in, and I think he led a drive down the field, and we ended up winning that game. But it kind of like, okay, it's a big game. And then to lose to them that next year really magnified, how how much it meant to people in the state, especially BYU fans. So that opened everybody's eyes, and we came out guns a-blazing the next year, ready for battle. And Scott Mitchell actually got hurt that week in practice. I told him he still owes me about 200 yards because had he played, we'd have probably been able to stay in more than a quarter or a couple quarters. So, make sure he knows that he owes me a couple hundred yards.
We will. Hey, before Blaine asks you about the next one, Aubrey Jensen on the stream says, "Hey, who's Ty's favorite daughter?"
I know who Aubrey is, Ty, but anyhow.
Yeah. I'm glad she's the only one tuned in right now. I don't have favorite kids anymore. I have grandkids, so they're by far the favorite.
Totally.
So.
Amen to that. But so I know Ty's daughters, and they're all awesome. They're awesome. Yeah. And they're just like Ty. They like hunt. They're amazing. They're athletes. They do it all. They're awesome. I love Ty's daughters. So,
all right, 1989, 70-31. Tell us how much fun that was.
Well, it was a lot of fun. Just to come out, I think we scored on our touchdowns on our first 7 possessions. Like I said, Scott got hurt. It probably put a little damper on their morale coming in, but we were clicking and everything we did went right, and it was just one of those games where it was like, oh man, we hated the taste we had last year, but this is a lot better this year. So that was a fun game.
They laid 70 on them.
Yeah, we called that game. Yeah, and thanks. It was like 49-something at halftime. We were like, "What are we going to do?" The rest of it. But when you're scoring one touchdown after another, again, it was actually 8. Your first 8 possessions, you scored touchdowns.
Yeah, the first one of the third quarter, I think I played, and then
then you were done. Place is packed. You're lighting up the rival. Is there a better feeling than that?
No, there really isn't. To then be able to enjoy it on the sideline with your buddies and watch the young guys play was a lot of fun too. And then they scored a few. Kind of got like, hey, just be ready. We might have to go back in here if they get a couple more. We turn it over. But offense scored a couple more, and that was a fun day for sure.
Ty, there's been a discussion going on in the chat about that Central Florida game where some of the folks on the chat are going, yeah, why did BYU take their foot off the gas in the fourth quarter, and they played some 2s and 3s and even some 4s on defense? And what's your thought on that? Because Kalani's more about, hey, I want to get guys in, and if the game's in hand. And some folks say, oh, yeah, but score a couple more and put them in later. What's your thought?
No, I think when you feel like you've got it in hand, it's good for those other guys to play. They got to get some reps. They got to get game time and meaningful game time. And Central Florida still got their guys in. So, you know, the you do have to be careful, like you don't, get it rolling the other way and then you can't stop it. But I think they felt like they were in control, and the score of the game doesn't matter at the end of the day. As coaches, sometimes you feel like, oh man, that got a little ugly at the end. We probably should have kept our foot on it. But then when you really boil it down, those guys need to play, and they work hard in practice. And anytime you can get guys in is a great feeling as a coach that you got some other guys in that don't normally play.
All right, let's go back to Salt Lake 1990, your Heisman year. 45-22, you throw for 451 and 5 touchdowns. Doing the math, that's 13 touchdowns in 2 games against the Utes from you. What was it like going into Salt Lake and doing that?
Yeah, I think, the way the year before went, I knew, I think our team knew they'd be kind of excited and fired up to avenge that one. It was a fun game as well there, being in a hostile environment. I remember they used to have the plexiglass behind the bench where it was, they could bang all game long, and it's just annoying, with with the crowd banging on the window the whole game. But they quieted down late. We kind of ran away with it. So it's always fun to win on the road, and a fun bus ride home, all those things. So that was a good night as well.
It's also fun to throw the ball 50 times in a game, isn't it?
Well, yeah, Blaine, you know that.
I know. That's what we used to do.
That's why I went to BYU.
That's exactly what we used to do.
So how about 1991? Last time you played these guys in Provo, another just shellacking 48-17. You were 18 of 29, 2 picks, 378 yards, 5 touchdown passes, and a run for a touchdown. That was.
I want to say that was the last game our senior year. They passed out the senior blankets. We actually tied San Diego State the week before, 52-52, and we had to win. All we had to do was beat Utah to win the WAC conference and go to the Holiday Bowl. So there was a lot riding on it, actually, and so we came in ready to go. Wanted to make sure we ended our senior season, our careers the right way as a group of seniors, and we did. So, fun way to go out, beating your rival at home and securing the conference championship all at one time.
Just doing the math, 17 touchdown passes against Utah, and then you ran for a couple as well. What was the magic? Maybe you had a rival down in San Antonio you whooped on in high school, and there's just something about the Utes that brought it out of you?
No, I mean, they're a different program now. They've done a great job of building that program, but they weren't known for their defense at that time, probably. So it was a different day and age, and it was just one of those things where we had the upper hand and we knew it, and I think them beating us that year meant a lot to, I know my group of guys that we all came in together, and just a constant reminder from that freshman year that we don't want to see that happen again.
You won and lost in Salt Lake City. What's it like playing up at Rice Eccles? If you like what you're watching, you can help us out by subscribing and hitting that notification button. What's it like playing up at Rice Eccles?
It's it's fun when things are going good. When they're not, it gets out of hand, but they're passionate about their team, and I've got good friends that are all Utah fans, and they love the Utes, and so I think it's a great for the state to have that rivalry and 2 fan bases that are passionate for their teams. And but when you go there, it's definitely a hostile environment. It's what it should be in a rivalry game, and your job is to go in there and win the game and quiet the crowd. So when that happens, there's nothing better. But when it doesn't, there's probably nothing worse.
So what was better? What did you prefer, beating them in Provo or beating them in Salt Lake in front of all their guys?
No, I think at home,
Really?
anytime you're at home, it's it's a special time because you're fan, the crowd's into it, the energy's there. That's one of the things. My sophomore year in '89, the energy was pretty thick from the year before. So Cougar fans were ready to see us win a game that year. So it was fun.
Hey, on the chat, Mareko Hedquist says, hey, Ty, do you ever meet any of the Miami players, or have you in your travels or in your playing days in the NFL? And when you do you still give them a little bit of a razzing about that game?
I actually did. I played with Ryan McNeil, and I played with a few guys that were on that team, and they couldn't believe it. They were like, "We don't know what happened that night, but we were shocked." And so it was fun, kind of harassing them a little bit, knowing you had bragging rights and just pull it out whenever you needed it. So that's always good.
Yeah. On the other side, do you have any really close friends old Utes that you associated with over time, or do you just pretty much wash your hands of them once you got done?
No, I mean, nobody that I don't really have any buddies that played at that time. Obviously Freddie Whittingham, we're still pretty close. He recruits Arizona, so every spring, every winter, I see him, and we talk quite a bit. So I love the Whittinghams. They're such a great family, and have done amazing things for BYU when they were playing, and I wish them well every week, except for maybe that one week. In a couple of weeks, it'll probably be the same. It's just, man, it's just hard to root for red when they're playing a blue team. So, but I appreciate those guys and the way they handle their business. They're recruiting and always honest with our players, and do things the right way up there as well. So, I root for them when they're not playing BYU.
Thrilled to have College Football Hall of Fame quarterback Ty Detmer on the Wise Guys Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com tonight. All right, lay out us 3 keys for BYU to win a week from Saturday up there in Salt Lake, which would be for the first time since 2006.
Yeah, it's the keys every week, right? It's handle the crowd noise, the penalties, and the turnovers. Those are always the keys to winning, and then I think keep doing what we're doing. I know they'll be ready. It'll be a different type of team that they see than maybe they've put on film the last couple of weeks. But you got to go in and limit their big plays early and withstand the emotion, and then start grinding it out on our end and don't turn it over. So it should be a great game.
Hey, let's turn to ALA Gilbert North right now. 6-2, 2-1 in region. Hey, the rebuild is well underway. It doesn't sound like a rebuild to me. Like, what's going on?
Well, I don't know. Our guys keep surprising me. A couple of weeks, it's like, I don't know. This game, it's going to be a dogfight, and we end up been winning some games. We lost a tough one this last week that we kind of let get away with penalties and turnovers, and so, the boys are playing hard. They've really bought into the new system, and they've done a great job of just battling every week and grinding out some wins. And we're looking forward to the next couple and see if we can't put ourselves in a great position for the playoffs.
How were you received when you went over there by assignment? Were the kids excited to have this Heisman Trophy winner, or were the parents more excited that their kids would have the Heisman Trophy winner?
Yeah, the kids, they got to Google and try to find some old clips that aren't black and white nowadays. But probably parents more so. But everybody seemed to be excited, and it's been a great year. Great to get to know a new group of kids. The same expectations. We're all in the ALA family, and actually lost to ALA Queen Creek, where I came from this year. So they got us. They're having a great season. I think they're 7-1 and ranked in the top 10 in the state, probably the top 6 or 7. And so, hated leaving the boys over there, but you get to meet a whole new group of boys and be a part of both of them. Has been a lot of fun this year.
What was that like? Because Max is still over there, Max Hall, who, no matter what Max says, you put him on the coaching map, right? Yep. Because you brought him in there, right. and you built that ALA Queen Creek program to what it is. To go back and play and to Max be coaching on the other side, what was that night like?
Well, Max has been there a long time. I just kind of came in and reaped those rewards a little bit. But it was fun working together, and I think we did a lot and kind of built things together as a group, and it was different being on the opposing team sideline. That's something when I was there for 3 years, and it was different looking across the field and seeing that view. But I'm happy for the boys there. They're having a great season. They got a ton of seniors this year that all came in as freshmen when I came in, and they've put together a great group, and they're doing big things. So just it was a little weird being on the visitor side.
Yeah, I'll bet. We talked to Max before that game, and he said it was interesting. It'll be interesting because you know all their plays, and they'll figure out that they know your plays. He said he wasn't afraid of that, though, didn't he? He said, "I'm not afraid of that," but that you are such a positive impact on his life that it was fun to hear him talk about. Wasn't looking forward to playing. You wanted to beat you, as you would want to beat him. But he's a beneficiary of your good grace and what you've done for him.
Well, we work well together and a lot in common, with BYU and our routes, there and playing days there. So it was bittersweet. I sent him a text on Sunday evening because I knew he was game planning that evening, and all I said was, "I know that you know that I know."
That's a perfect text.
He called me like 5 minutes later. He's like, "What are you? Yeah, I know you know." And so it was like a little bit of head games, like just trying to get in there. But, you could hand somebody your call sheet and you wouldn't have any idea what's coming, from play to play. So there's never really a problem that way. And they did a good job. He was patient that night, and their defense is really playing well. James Warinsky and I are good buddies still. Go to lunch every Friday, and they've done a great job defensively as well. So they kind of got the total package right now, and it was a tough night for us, but at the same time, I think we learned and we grew from that game that we got to work a little harder and get a little better. So
those ALA kids, though, so fortunate to have you and Max down there.
Such a fun thing that you guys are doing down there. And hey, while we're talking, the chat's going on, people are just reminiscing. People are talking about the Theismann rap and how they knew every word of the Theismann rap and wore out their cassette players playing the Theismann rap.
Can you still rap that? Can you rap that for us?
No, I actually, my sister probably could. I think she was like 10 or 12 years old at that time and knew every word. A lot of people had fun with it. I actually saw Johnny Biscuit probably about 6 or 7 years ago, and he was the guy singing it. We talked about it and how, he had a good time doing it as well. But, it's been, it's been fun. Great.
Others are talking about that San Diego State game that you mentioned earlier, that you and Marshall Falk going against each other, 52-52 tie. I called that game. And Brenda, who Ty knows well, we didn't have a spotter sheet, and so we put her into spot for the game. And she told me afterwards, "Don't ever make me do that ever again." Because the ball was just going up and down the field, and she had to point to who was making the tackle on every play. She says, "I've never watched a game where I actually had to watch every single play. Don't ever make me do that again. I have a headache." So,
well, there were a lot of plays in that game.
It was a long night for sure.
Yes, it was. It was fun. It was a really fun one.
5 questions with Ty Detmer as we head down the home stretch. Presented by Strategy Square, delivering connection, clarity, and confidence in business and marketing strategies. Owned and operated by a BYU alum who's helping wise guys conquer the world. So we've done the original 5 questions with you. So now we're going to give you 2 options, and you just pick one of the 2 with what you prefer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right.
I think I know the answer to this first one, but I don't know. Maybe you're going to surprise me. These are kind of like either ors. Hunting or fishing?
Hunting.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah. How about brisket or ribs?
Ribs nowadays. I don't know. Like brisket doesn't sit well with me, so I love it. But it doesn't sit well with me. So the ribs seem to do better.
And you came from Texas. Dave served his mission in Texas, and I think we all agree if the barbecue place isn't attached to a gas station, it's probably not very good. So, okay, summer or winter?
Winter.
Really?
Hunting, hunting season. And I live in Arizona now.
Yeah,
so,
so winter's great down
That's
there.
a different winter down there.
Yeah, yeah.
Getting to the good part.
Okay, college football or NFL football?
Whew. I like both, actually. I mean, I enjoy it. I think to watch a game in person, I'd probably watch a college game in person.
What about playing? Did you enjoy playing in college or playing
Well,
in the NFL?
Yeah, obviously played a lot more in college. The pressure wasn't as great as trying to stay on a team every year. So college for sure.
College, okay.
So
this is a big one for this week.
This is a tough one. This is like multiple choice. So, Halloween candy, Junior Mints, Milk Duds, or M&Ms?
Milk Duds, actually.
That's a good choice. Wise choice.
Yes, you never can lose with Milk Duds. They will pull out your fillings.
And when you're giving out candy, and you don't you hesitate to give out the candy you like? You're like, here's this big bowl, and they reach for the Milk Duds, and you're like, I guess you could take that.
No, you see, you're making a big mistake. You got to pull those out before you.
That is true.
Do you have grandkids down by you now, Ty? Or are there some grandkids in Arizona? Or are they all far away?
No, I have 4 in Rigby, Idaho, and one I think about 3 months old in South Jordan, right there.
Yeah. How many total for you now?
5 total.
5 total. Amazing. Sweet. That is amazing.
5 questions presented by Strategy Square. Ty, you got Notre Dame prep on Friday. We wish you the best of luck in that one. And what do you need? One more win to clinch a state playoff berth, or what are we at?
Well, we do rankings here. Our strength of schedule will be up there, so we'll be in the playoffs, I think, because we played 2 tough teams here the last 2. But we want to try to win them and get a higher seed so we get some home games.
After you get to the playoffs, let's get your boss on the Wise Guys, and we'll talk about a race.
Yeah,
that you've earned.
Dave and I are very influential.
Restoring Gilbert to the
we're excellent agents
to high level.
They've been pretty good in the past, so it hasn't been too big of a turnaround for us. But we're young in spots, so we feel like we're getting a little better each week.
Good. Hey, the Cougars are coming your way on November 23rd against Arizona State. Are you going to be there?
We're taking our team to the game, so we're
that's great.
Tickets. We got one of our coaches works in their ticket office, and he's hooked us up with. I think we've got about 103 coming. We're going to tailgate as a team, and then I'll probably be sitting in the nosebleeds with the boys, but we'll be there. So,
do the boys know which team they're cheering for, or do they get to choose on the way?
It's a pretty good mix. I mean, we'll have some that are straight Arizona State fans that don't know any different, and then we've got a lot of BYU fans on our team.
Oh, that's great. And I love that you're going to be sitting up there. Do you know, this doesn't surprise me. It won't surprise you either because you know him really well. But Andy Reid came to a game. I think they had, and he just sat up in regular seats.
Yeah.
People are like, is that Andy Reid sitting right over there? We're like, yeah, that's Andy Reid sitting right over there.
Eating a cougar tail, having the time of his life.
He could have been up in the president's box, but no, he just sat in his regular row seat, which I love. Does that sound like Andy, though?
It does, but, after doing that one time, he may never do it again, No.
People left him alone, which was great. I think they left him alone.
Andy's awesome, he's nothing's ever been below him, and a great example for all of us, to go out there. And I'm actually looking forward to being with the boys and helping chaperone that with a couple of our other coaches as well.
Hey, our guys are going to reach out to you, and we're going to try to get you on our pregame show down there at the game if we can get you away from the guys for a couple minutes. But we'll work on those details. We still got a few weeks, but we look forward to any time we can have you involved with what we're doing. That's the first suggestion is how can we get ties? So we're proud of you. Congratulations on your season. Thank you for joining us tonight, and good luck again on Friday.
Keep it rolling.
I appreciate it, guys. Always fun to talk with you.
Thanks, Ty.
Great Ty Detmer. Thank you for watching The Wise Guys.
If you like what you're watching, you can help us out by subscribing and hitting that notification button.